Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Clutch Talk podcast / YouTube / We Do It All. As always, I'm your host, John. Very happy to be here. Let me check in with my boy over there from the 6, Jay Hizzle. How you doing, my dog?
Doing great. Let's get into it. Let's cut the small talk. Let's get right into this ball. But how are you doing, Jay? Feeling nice?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be here. Happy to see you, my dog, as always. And I'm just excited, like how you said, Jay, just to get straight into the ball talk, man. But just real quick for the fans, man, if you guys are on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button and leave us a nice comment down below, man. Leave us a comment of what your favorite game of the week was or whatever you want to do, man. And as always, don't forget to follow our Instagram. But let's, like how Jay said, let's skip the small talk. Over here at Clutch Talk, we just like to get straight into the hoop talk. So let's get straight into it. You ready to do this, brother?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it, man. So last week we introduced a new little game, the up or down game. So we're gonna double it back and we're gonna come right back to that game. So we got a couple of up and down questions, man. All the fans, you guys let us know if you guys are up or down too. But Jay, I got my first question here for you, man, is look, so we are seeing the Suns on a record-breaking winning game streak right now. For the first time they've won 10 games straight in a decade, man. And it was crazy, Jay, is a lot of people last year just didn't believe in the Suns, said, oh, they're getting lucky. They've played an injured team each round and they're not really this good. And now they're really kind of shutting everybody up. And now because they're on an 11-game winning streak. Jay, are you up and right now they're second in the West? But Jay, I want to ask, are you up or down on the Phoenix Suns finishing in a top 2 record in the West?
I'm up on it. I mean, before the season in our preview, I've already had the Suns at number 2, at the number 2 spot. So this is right where I thought they were going to be. And I don't see any reason why it's changing. I mean, you look at their roster all the way top from bottom. I mean, you could say they only added, Landry Shamet and JaVale McGee. They lost Torrey Craig, who was, one of their better perimeter defenders on the wing. But I mean, let's be honest, he wasn't the biggest piece they could have lost. And besides that, they brought everyone back, including Cameron Payne, Cam Johnson, all those, secondary pieces. And then, of course, they kept the core of CP and D-Book. DeAndre Ayton, he didn't sign the max, but he's still with the squad. So they brought everyone back, Jay Crowder, everyone back. And there's no reason for me to believe that, it was a fluke that they made it to the finals. I thought they were a well-constructed team who did receive some good fortune on their way to the finals, obviously. But I think they're playing at a high level. And I think it's only going to continue. So it's no reason for me to believe that any of this is a fluke, because we saw it last season and we're just seeing it again after a slow start, but then getting back into the swing of things and obviously on a historic run now. But how are you feeling about it, Jay?
I don't know, Jay. So, I mean, I agree. I agree with you on the fact that, they're not a fluke as a team. They've proved it that, hey, I know we got some lucky breaks, but we're not a fluke as a team. But top 2 in the West is tough, man, because I don't know. I mean, the Warriors, we see the way they're playing. They're playing at an all-time high. I don't know if they're going to be able to beat that out. The Jazz, I think, I know the Jazz aren't exactly where they want to be, but I think that in the span of an 82-game season, I think that they'll be able to pick it up, man. And I just, I like CP, man, but he's getting up there in the age, man. I don't know if he can consistently keep this up for a whole 82-game stretch versus, the Utah Jazz. I think that they'll be able to keep this up. So I'm not calling them a fluke, but as to up or down on this question, the question is, are they going to be a top 2 seed in the West? I don't know, man, because I don't know if they're beating out that Warriors team or if they're beating out that Utah Jazz team. So for me, I got to go down on this one, Jay. All right. So
that's what they got. But Jay, that's why they got campaign to fill right in for CP. But I mean, I can see why that age would be a factor. But I think they're just so deep, one of the deepest teams in the West and the league for that matter, so that they have all those pieces who can fill in on a night-to-night basis. And you even saw it with DeAndre Ayton being out. Frank Kaminsky stepped right in. JaVale McGee stepped right in and filled in for them. So they just got that next man up mentality. And I talked about on the last episode is what you need from a competitive championship contending team. And they have all that. So that's why I have them up. I'm up on them, man.
But do you think, just real quick, do you think Campaign is a point guard that could lead his team to, when CP is out, to being a top 2 team in the West with other great point guards, for like from the Jazz and from the Warriors?
No, but that's why they got D Book to be that number one guy.
Okay. All right.
Even if CP's on the floor, they still got D Book as their one option. And that doesn't change if Cameron Payne. He can do enough to keep them in contention, get guys in positions where they need to be, and he can get his own at the same time if they need it.
Okay. All right. For sure. I feel that, Jay. So next question that we have here, Jay, is let's jump over there to the East. Jay, are you up or down on the Chicago Bulls being real championship contenders? Because I've had some people say yes. I've had some people say that they're not really going to be able to make it past that grueling Eastern Conference playoffs. But how are you feeling, Jay? Are you up or down on the Bulls' chances for a title this year?
And are you so the championship contenders by definition? Are you mean like they're winning a title or they're just competing
they win the East? Sorry, I should have clarified that better.
Okay, they win the East.
They at least get to the championship.
They're in the championship. Down on that, man. Ooh. I think that the Bulls, for as great as they've been and all that they've accomplished to this point, playing at extremely high levels, led by Zach LaVine. We'll get into that later about one of the games that I've highlighted. And one of his amazing performances that he's helped throughout the season. But I mean, I think their biggest weakness is number one, losing Patrick Williams. We talked about it a few shows ago. Huge loss for them, being that they're for another great defender that they're losing, as well as I don't think Vucevic is a reliable rim protector that you need on a championship team. They lack that rim protection. I feel like teams just score at will. Offensively against, saw that firsthand when they played the Warriors, to name that. Obviously they were able to beat the Lakers, but I think that's just because, the Lakers are without LeBron. They're on kind of a slide right now, but I think the Bulls really lack that rim protection, which is going to, in the playoffs, that's right what you need. Unless they're able to go out and get someone right now, I think that's going to be their biggest weakness and why I don't think they'll be in the finals and be able to beat a Brooklyn, to be able to beat a Giannis, to be able to beat even a Sixers team with a guy like Joel Embiid. I think that Joel is just destroying Vucevic in that matchup. So you look at those teams at the class of the East, I feel like maybe I'm even missing a team, but I don't think the Bulls can beat those type of teams in a 7-game series. How are you feeling about it, Jay? The Bulls are a great team right now, so I know you're gonna have something to say about this.
And Jay, I mean, we've been doing this for a long time, and you know that when the Bulls got together with this team, I've been up on them since then. I had them even high in our preseason ranking for the Eastern Conference. So I'm not gonna shake away from it. I'm gonna stay consistent to what I say, man. So I'm up on it, Jay. I really like the Bulls as a team, and I agree. I do agree with all the points that you bring about with Vucevic and not being able to be a good rim protector. And we know in playoffs, like defense wins champion. I mean, in the NBA, defense wins championships, man. But I haven't seen a team like the Bulls yet, man. Where they got two wing scorers in DeMar and Zach, and they got Lonzo, who's really grown into a great player who can score if need be, man. But he's really out there just pushing the tempo, man, playing some great defense. And then they got great players off the bench like Derrick Jones Jr. and Alex Caruso. And I'm just really liking that team. But I gotta agree, Jay, the front court and the defense is definitely a sign of concern when they play the Giannis's and the Joels. Even a player like Andre Drummond would give him a lot of trouble, man. And that's a backup player. AD number 2, Jay. AD number 2. AD number 2.
Boy. Yeah, but
all right, Jay. So let's keep it pushing, man. Let's keep it pushing. Jay, we haven't yet agreed yet on the episode, Jay.
Man.
All right, so let's keep it pushing. So, Jay, we know our boy right here, John Moran. I'm on my Grizzly. He's right now leading the league in points in the paint. Wow, that is impressive. He is a 6'2", 6'3" guard, leading the league in points in the paint. That's crazy. But, Jay, are you up or down that he will finish the season leading the league in points in the paint?
That's a tough question just because of stats, but I don't see why not, honestly. I think that he's attacking the rim. I mean, elevation wise, he's up there. He can finish any way he wants, just purely off his athleticism. You can tell he's been in the lab working on his skills too, because just the amount of finishes he has, creativity he has, and just the sheer confidence. Like when he drives to the rim, he knows he's looking for contact. A lot of guys you see in the league, you know, are trying to fade away or shy away from contact. Nah, that's not Ja. He's coming to the rim trying to take your head off and dunk the ball. So I don't see any reason right now to believe like that's changing anytime soon. Like unless you got something like
I ain't got nothing, Jay. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Let's keep it pushing. I'm up on that too. The way he's been attacking the rim has just been relentless, man. We say this all the time when we're off camera. We say, man, Ja just plays relentless. So I'm right there with you, Jay. Let's keep it pushing, man. Jay, the Wizards have surprised us all. As a matter of fact, last week on our episode, we even said that the Wizards have been one of the biggest surprises of the league. So, Jay, are you up or down on the Wizards finishing as a top 6 seed in the East and avoiding that play-in situation? Oof.
Like right now, I don't see why not. I think they got the depth. I think Montrezl Harrell, you heard the MVP chants the other night, man. He's playing at a high level.
MVP level?
I don't think he's at an MVP level. I think that was just absurd. But I mean, even you could make a case. Like if you look at his numbers, he's playing at a high level, but obviously MVP level is hard. Yeah. I feel like honestly about that, I feel like fans are just getting out of hand with those kind of chants. They just saying anything. They're giving anyone MVP chance right now. But yeah, I think the Wizards are just looking like a brand new team. I mean, we talked about it on the last episode with Wes Unseld. He has the team putting the players into the right positions to win. With the depth that they have, I don't see why not. I mean, they have multiple scorers, multiple options to go to on that side of the floor. Defensively, they're looking like a whole new team than they were last year. So I think six seed is a legitimate. It's not out of contention. I'm up on it right now. So
okay,
could change in a couple of weeks, but we'll see.
All right, for sure. So let's get to our last up or down, Jay, and that is about our guy that we've been raving about, and Evan Mobley, man. You know, I'd say that he is the highest chance of winning Rookie of the Year right now. Although he did just go out with the injury. Jay, are you up or down on Evan Mobley, like the odds say, winning the Rookie of the Year?
With the injury right now?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, he's injured right now, but by the end of the season, I mean, he'll be back in like 2 or 3 weeks. By the end of the season, do you have him winning Rookie of the Year?
I think so. I think he's gonna continue to grow. Cavs have a lot invested in him. They have a lot of faith in him, giving him, you know, the touches on the block, putting him in positions to score. Bickerstaff, JB, just believing in him. That's huge as a rookie to have the confidence of your team. There's been possessions and times within the game they put him on taking huge shots, like clutch positions, putting him in plays where they need a bucket from him. So having that kind of faith and being in those situations puts you in a good standing to have a chance to win Rookie of the Year. So I'm up on it.
I'm right there with you, my brother. Him definitely. You know, the way he plays, man. He does not look like a young rookie, man. He looks like he's been in the league for some time, man, and he's gonna grow into that body. So I'm right there with you, my brother, man. So
sure.
That's the up or down game, you know, all for all the fans, whichever one you guys are up or down on, make sure you guys comment down below. But Jay, we got to get to some rumors, man. There's been some rumors. I feel like I'm in middle school again talking about rumors. There's been some rumors flying around the league. Rumor has it. So Jay, there's been some rumors flying around the league that Daryl Morey and the Sixers staff have a list of 30 trades that they will accept for Ben Simmons. Before we even talk about that, Daryl Morey released that damn list. I need to see that. But Jay, one of those trades that I guess has been leaked is supposedly Jeremy Grant, another forward, and a young player, and a draft pick for Ben Simmons. So before I even continue, how do you feel about that? Give me a Sixer side about that, and give me a Detroit Pistons side about that.
From the Sixer side, my question is Jeremy Grant going to play the 3 Is he going to be able to slide in there? Because you already have Tobias at the 4. I guess you could move Tobias to the 3, and then you're bringing in Jeremy Grant, and then whoever this young guard is or young player from the Sixers, I think could be key in their growth and their continuement movement. But I think at this point, if I'm the Sixers, I'm just taking any reliable kind of option. And then I think Jeremy Grant would be better suited as like a 2-3. He's kind of the number one option on the Pistons. We've seen that shouldn't be really successful, can't really be successful for a winning team, that is, at least. And then you're getting value back, pretty decent value for Ben Simmons, a guy you've been trying to get rid of. So I see it as a win if you're the Sixers. And then on the Pistons side of things, I don't really know if that's a good look. I mean, you're bringing in a guy who plays the 1, unless you're moving into the 3 where he's going to be comfortable, or 4, filling in right there for Cade, which could be a good position, actually. You know, you're bringing in a 4. You want Cade or Killian Hayes being your 1. That's clear with the way the Pistons are operating right now. So I see it as a bit of a win for them. Because I don't think long-term Jeremy Grant, like I said, is going to be the 1 or 2 option on a title contending, even playoff contending team. So I would more consider it, take a longer consideration if I'm the Pistons. On the Sixers side, yeah, I'm doing that deal right away. But how are you feeling about it?
Absolutely, Jay, man. I mean, if I'm the Sixers, I'm jumping at that, man. I mean, as Ben Simmons' value has been absolutely shot. I mean, if you take before this whole situation happened, if you offer me this trade and I'm the Sixers, I'm laughing at it. I'm like, what? I got Ben Simmons. I have so much more value. But at this point, you got to take what you could get, man. And Jeremy Grant, you know, not a great player, but you put him around other good players. I mean, we saw when he was on the Nuggets, you know, his value was just so much higher because he was just he didn't have to do as much. You know, he didn't have to be that guy. He didn't have to be that number one option. Like how you said, I agree with you. Jeremy Grant is not a number one option on a championship winning team. But I mean, if you have him as a role player, that, you know, that's a very good role player. But on the Pistons side of things, I agree, Jay. I think that might be a little bit too much to give up for someone whose value is already shot, man. But like how you said, though, man, like where does Ben Simmons fit over there? You know, you definitely don't want to take Killian Hayes and Cade out of that 1 and 2, man, because, you know, they're growing. Even if the Pistons get Ben Simmons, I don't even see them making the playoffs. It doesn't even make them ridiculously better. So honestly, I think that, in my opinion, that's a little bit too much. If you can just go straight up Simmons for Grant, I mean, that's not as good for the 76ers, but that's great for the Pistons, man. You know, you're able to bring in a player that's gonna bring some defense, man. But Jay, I have a question for you on the Pistons side of things. If you are the Pistons GM over there, who do you refuse to add into that trade? Because we don't know who another forward and young player is. And I mean, I'm looking right here on the Pistons roster. Some forwards that got here is Sadiq Bey, Josh Jackson, and then young players. I mean, it's kind of their whole roster is young. So who are players that you are like, no, that they're out. You cannot touch them, whether they're too good, which is probably not the case, or they're too young and they have a lot of talent. Who do you not touch on that?
Yeah, I would say for Pistons, it's Sadiq Bey is the one I look at. I say there's a lot of upside there. He hasn't obviously touched it yet. He's inconsistent at this point and inefficient at times. And then you look at a guy like I'm still not obviously okay. Cade, they're not going to deal him.
Yeah,
but then even Killian Hayes, I'm not ready to get rid of him. I think he still has a lot of room to grow. Give it a little time, see what he can do. He may not be able to. He may be first round value, but maybe 7 or 8. I believe he was selected at. I think that there might be regretting that a little bit. But those are the 2 players, and then other than that, I think everyone's pretty up for grabs in that kind of deal.
Absolutely, Jay. Yeah, that's who I have, man. You cannot give up a player like Sadiq Bey and Killian Hayes. Yes, he might, like how you said, he might have been taken a little bit too early, but he has potential. He has upside, and I don't see why you give that up for Ben Simmons, who, I mean, now the entire NBA sees like, hey, if he doesn't get his way, if we don't rub his feet and give him kisses, he's gonna cry and he's gonna, not come to the not come to the game, man. So yeah, I don't think you give up two players like that, man. But all right, Jay. So just one more question as far as the Pistons side of things. I know we've seen Isaiah Stewart go out with that injury, and now the Pistons front court is looking extremely thin. And Pistons Twitter has came out saying, "Give us DeMarcus Cousins. Give us DeMarcus Cousins." So Jay, how do you feel about DeMarcus Cousins making his return and joining the Detroit Pistons?
I think it would be better than relying on Luke Garza, a rookie, in his first year. Especially, Kelly Olynyk's out for I think 6 to 8 weeks still. And then Isaiah Stewart had that ankle injury. I think he's listed as probable or maybe like questionable still. But I think, it doesn't hurt to add some depth there. I think DeMarcus Cousins can still play maybe in a more limited role. He's never going to be the DeMarcus Cousins that Boogie Cousins we all remember and love before his severe, Achilles injury. But I think, they give him a shot, give him a opportunity to prove himself in the league, mentor the young guys a little bit, because he was once a great player. And I think he would be great to have around young guys like Garza and Isaiah Stewart.
Absolutely, Jay. I'm not going to say I see Boogie. I see Boogie and Isaiah Stewart, but they have that same big body type, and I think that Boogie could be there and be a great mentor to them. So I'm absolutely right there with you, my brother. And I just wanted to get a little quick feel on how you feel about that, man. But all right, brother. So let's keep it pushing, man. And Jay, let's talk about some games here. You want me to kick it off the games here for us, brother?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I'll talk about some of the games. So on Friday, we saw the Hornets beat the Pacers 121-118. Absolutely great game, very interesting. But some things I want to point out here was just a great overall performance by the Hornets. Gordon Hayward 25 points, Miles Bridges 14 points, Kelly Oubre 16, Cody Martin 12. But who I really want to highlight is that boy LaMelo Ball, man. He has been having one hell of a week, man. This game, he had 32 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, and just it seemed like he just looked so much more comfortable out there, man. Just like he's just doing really whatever he wants. He's now really being able to get to his spots and score, man. And just a quick shout out to the Hornets bench, man. A quick shout out to the Hornets team. They scored 22 points off the Pacers turnovers, man, which is incredible. We talk about all the time, the great teams in the league. I mean, let's look at the Warriors for instance. They have the best record right now in the league. And what did they lead the league in? A couple of categories. One of the categories is points off turnovers, and the Hornets were able to convert, and that's why they were able to pull out that dub. But just I got to give a quick shout out to the Pacers bench. That's why I'm going to give a shout out to Jay. 78 points off the bench. Oh my goodness, they were out there balling, and I have to freaking thumbs down to the Pacers starting lineup, man, because only one player, which is Malcolm Brogdon, scored more than 8 points in that starting lineup, which is absolutely unacceptable. And you can't see that from the Pacers, man. I'm unfortunately thinking this is going to be another Pacers letdown year, which is sad, man, because they have so much talent on that roster. Is there anything you want to touch on that game, Jay?
No, I mean, you said it all. I think that the Pacers are, on another slide yet again. I thought when they brought in Carlisle that it would be a change of pace. I mean, you saw in that game, most recently they've lost 3 in a row. One of them was to those mighty Pistons, which is a terrible loss. And then in that game, recently, like all 5 of their starters got benched at the 8-minute mark in the third quarter. I mean, that's just nothing that you want to see happen. If you're a Pacers, a team who we all thought would at least be making the playoffs, they're 6-11 right now, looking like a disjointed team. So, and then the Hornets, I think they're playing great basketball. Obviously, they got to win against the Warriors, to name a few, and then they've been continuing that success as well. So yeah, that's what I got to say.
Okay, for sure. Jay, but before we move away from the Hornets, I got to ask you real quick. Are the Hornets a lock for the playoffs? I know last year they had that play-in meltdown and because they were a little young, but just you don't even got to get crazy deep into it. But you think they're a lock? Just first thought.
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Okay.
I don't think they're a lock. No.
Okay. Okay. I got you.
Play-in team, lock. Play off team. Nah, I'm not. No.
Okay. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, my brother. All right, brother. Yeah. So you want to go to the next game?
Yeah, I'll go to the next game, Jay. And I don't know if you have this listed as either. Was that Boston Celtics 130 to 108 defeat against the Los Angeles Lakers, man. And this was a wild game. You know, a lot of it being to was pointing to LeBron coming back. How would the Lakers look with LeBron coming back into the mix? You knew he was going to bring value to them. You knew he was going to bring their leadership, just doing what LeBron does. And then this was just a tale of two halves. I feel like this is what it's been, you know, kind of the Lakers' whole season. Obviously, going into the first quarter, until into the second half, it was tied, or I believe they were up by one or down by one. And then those third quarter woes continue, man. The third quarter, there's the third quarter Warriors, and then there's the third quarter. Yeah, there's the third quarter Warriors who are plus 126 in the third quarter, and then there's the Lakers who are an abysmal minus 92 in the third quarter, Jay. And this has just been a continued theme for the Lakers, who have been up and down. I look to their defensively is their liability. I feel like teams just score at will on their side of things. And then I just look at, besides who they got as a number one, you know, AD and LeBron, I just don't know who they can rely on night to night. I've talked about it before. I don't know about Russell. You know, we've been talking about this. Is Westbrook the right fit? Is he the reliable third option? Or is it a guy who we had talked about, Talen Horton-Tucker, who had a stellar three first games since returning, and then, you know, took a hit in his last game. But I think that he's somebody they got to look to as being that third option, Jay, a reliable third option. Obviously, it's a tough task for him going up against Jason Tatum, who Frank Vogel spoke on as they want to prime THT to be guarding the other player's best player. I think on that statement, I'm a little hesitant, though, because THT is giving up a lot of size, especially to a guy like Jason Tatum. He's given about 5 inches, despite being, you know, having a crazy wingspan. I think that's a lot of size to be giving up. And then, Jay, I'm going to let you talk to – I don't know if you have this game listed, but you talk about the Lakers side of things, and then I'll talk about my Celtics side of things for this game.
Okay, Jay. Well, I mean, before we even get to the Lakers side of things, I got to talk about Russell Westbrook, man. The dog is just the dog just has missed this almost every shot he takes at this point, man. You know, he had 12 points, shot 38% from the field, and shot 25% from three, which is terrible. And what I just cannot understand, and this is the same thing Shannon Sharp keeps tweeting about, right? Why is he taking threes? Like, and then people are like, he's open. Yes, dog. He's open for a reason, dog. He's open for a reason, man. And he keeps taking them. And he just, and like, I don't know, somewhere in his head, he's like, okay, the other team's going on a run. Let me take some threes. Like that's not the freaking equation. So I had to talk about that because yes, the Lakers' defense is rough, but a lot of in my opinion, the struggles are coming from the Lakers is because Russell Westbrook thinks this is still 2010, and then right, he thinks this is still Oklahoma City Thunder Russell Westbrook, and it's just not that, man. And you're playing with two players that are much greater than you, and you got to defer to them, man. But let's get to the Lakers, man. Jay, my first thoughts were like, wow, man, I'm so happy LeBron James is back. You know, he's he's going to be running things instead of West Brick, and it's just going to be so much more fluid, man. And with LeBron James, the Lakers are 4-2 without their 4-6. With LeBron, the Lakers shoot 39% from the three. Without LeBron, they shoot 31% from the three. So that's just LeBron hitting the shooters, finding the open players. They turn over the ball less. They make better decisions. That's just a better point guard, man. And in the first half, it showed that, man. The Lakers were looking great, man. Only one turnover for the entire first half, playing great defense, rotating, just doing it all, man. And then what happened? And then halftime hit. Halftime hit. And for the third or fourth game in a row, the defensive anchor of the team, Anthony Davis, absolutely disappeared. The defense, if AD disappears, the defense is about to disappear right there with him. So AD disappeared, so did the defense, man. And I mean, Jay, you said it. I mean, like the Lakers right now have the second worst plus minus in the third quarter. The only team that has the worst is the Detroit Pistons, man. And at this point, I'm getting to the point where I'm questioning Frank Vogel, man. I'm really questioning Frank Vogel and his lineups he puts out there. It doesn't look like he finds something that works and then tries to switch it up and tries to go a whole different direction. And that's frustrating, man. That's frustrating. And just to talk a little bit more on the defense, I don't think AD should be letting a 57-year-old Al Horford score 18 points on 55% from the field, man. And I mean, just overall, Jay, I get it. The Lakers are built to be a playoff team. I get it that they want to do this in the playoffs. I get it. It's going to be hard to beat them in a 7-game series, but you can't just turn it on like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you have LeBron James. LeBron James in the past has turned it on and all this and all that, but it's not. This isn't 27-year-old LeBron. This isn't what LeBron was in the Heat and the Cavs. And I think it's going to be a little bit harder to just turn it on, because there looks like there's some players on that team who just, they don't have that on or off switch. AD and Bron might have it, and they could turn it on when it gets a little closer to the playoffs or when it gets to playoffs. But as a team, you need to have it, man, because what wins championships, Jay? Defense. And the defense is struggling, man. So it's looking rough over here in La La Land.
Yeah.
But talk to me about the Celtics.
Let's talk about the Celtics. You know where that conversation starts, Jay. And that's with Jason Tatum. And it was Jay. It was a guy who I had talked about on the last episode about who needs to be the number one option for the Celtics. And that's Jason Tatum. And he proved that on Friday night against the Lakers. What did he do? 37 points, 11 rebounds, 3 steals, 4 3-pointers. His 14th 35-point game, tying Paul Pierce for the most Celtics games. 35-point games in Celtics history before turning 24. That's elite company with the truth, Jay. And this is huge because for the Celtics, number one, he's been kind of slow to this point, had a slow start to the season, and we're seeing him continue to pick it up. I think it's huge for the Celtics team. I think it's even despite the Lakers not being the Lakers that we thought they'd be before the season, still a huge win on your home court, protecting home court, building on those momentum.
I think rivalry.
Yeah, it's a rivalry game as well. And then you look at the rest of the roster, another guy that points out to me, Dennis Schroeder. And I saw you tweet about it during the game, man. That was definitely a revenge game for him. He came out and performed 21 points, six assists, 6 rebounds, exactly what you want out of your point guard, on high efficiency as well. Man, I think the Celtics just look like a team that we thought they could always be. And it leads you to that question. Do they really need Jason Tatum? To play devil's advocate, do they really need Jaylen Brown and Mean Jay? I don't know. Do they to be successful? Could they get Ben Simmons into this rotation and be a little more successful? I don't know. It's a question that begs to be answered with the type of performance and the win that they got against the Lakers. But Jay, how are you feeling about the Celtics end? I know I didn't get really too in depth with it, but how are you feeling about the Celtics performance?
I mean, Jay, you hit most of it. Jason Tatum had a very slow start, man, but stuck with it and got out there and kept putting his points up, and he almost really got a 40 piece. And Dennis Schroeder, man, I'm surprised he actually only had 21 points. Because it looked like he was out there looked like he almost had 30 out there, man. The way he was playing, he was playing with intensity on both ends, and you can tell that game meant a little bit more to him. And as just a little side piece, the Celtics like broadcast. I don't know if you've seen this on like flying around Twitter. They interviewed Dennis Schroeder after, and they had on this little right next to his name said, "Y'all paid Russell Westbrook $44 million, man." So the Celtics kind of go at the Lakers, man. So yeah, I mean, to be real, they took it to him, man. Overall, great team performance for the Celtics. Marcus Smart had 22 himself. Josh Richardson had 15, and just they did it, man. And I don't know if the Celtics are going to be able to keep this up because as we've seen, they've had some early season struggles, but they did it this game, man. And that's what we talk about. That's all that mattered, man. So that they did that, man. Shout out the Celtics, but I still think the Lakers going to be able to pull it out by the end of the season, man. But talk to me about some of the games that you had highlighted, Jay, from the week.
Yeah, I mean, not really a games that I had highlighted, rather a team. Okay. And that team is the Atlanta Hawks, a team who I had said on our last, hidden takes, our last long episode, that it's a team who needs to pick it up, a team who's slumping, a team who needs the leadership of Trae Young to be successful. And what did they do, Jay? Since November 14th, they're on a 4-game win streak, beating the Bucks, the Celtics, and last night beating the Hornets. 3, good teams, and however you want to look at it, the Hornets maybe a playoff team or a play-in team. The Celtics, a team who I think is going to make the playoffs, and then the Bucks, who I think are a lock. Obviously not performing at the highest level right now. And that's 3 quality wins. I think they're playing great. Added with Trae Young, just playing at the level that they need him to play. I think that they shook off that honeymoon or whatever you want to call it, that rust, the rust from the finals or being in the Eastern Conference Finals, playing at that high level, and they're starting to compete, get in the swing of things. Clint Capella's playing at a higher level, man. And I think it's just only up from here. With the Hawks, we're off to a slow start, and I think they're going to continue to build on this recent success, Jay. That's a team I got highlighted. But how are you feeling about the Hawks, too?
Man, Jay, I have here that the Hawks have made the biggest transition, man. They started the season extremely slow. It seemed like Trae Young had to take a little bit of time to get adjusted to all of those. I guess these rule changes, which we'll talk a little bit about later in the episode. But they did exactly that. And just to give him a quick shout out, man. DeAndre Hunter has been out too. He's about to miss the next 2 months due to a wrist injury, and they still have been able to step up and especially highlighting that DeAndre Hunter is one of their primary defenders on that team, man. So just an overall shout out to the Hawks, man. And I actually want to run this by you real quick, Jay. And I was watching the Hawks game the other day, and I was thinking to myself, I said, I think John Collins and John Collins and AD are tied for the best pick and role players right now in the league, man. They just are. It's just an extreme threat, man. Both have that little mid range. Both fly high in the sky to get the lob, and it's every play down court. Whether it's a Lakers pick and roll, giving it to AD, or whether it's a Trae Young or whoever, a Hawks pick and roll, giving it to John Collins, and it's just extremely impressive. And especially for the Hawks side of things, they have 2. A lot of times I see it's a pick and roll, throw it to John Collins, and John Collins throws a lob to Clint Capella, man. So it's looking nice out there for the Hawks. So that was a great shout out, Jay.
Yeah.
So you want to get onto this NBA news, Jay, or you have any other teams you want to highlight?
One, I mean, not really a team, a player I gotta highlight.
Let's talk about it.
That vintage beard, the James Harden, with that 36 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists on Jay. How many free throws? 20. 19 from 20 from the line, man. That's a vintage Harden. And, of course, 7 for 25 from the field goal, from the field goal range. And I think that's just a vintage Harden performance, low efficiency, getting to the line. I mean, maybe the rule change, we'll get into that later, like you said. I'm guessing we'll have a segment about that. But I think the beard is back. I think he's learned he's evolved too, as well as, you talked about Trae Young. So just shout out the Beard, man. He's back.
Man, shout out to Beard, man. He's back. Even with the rule changes, he's like, y'all can't hold me. But all right, Jay. So Jay, let's get to some NBA news. Like how we just said, man. Just talked about DeAndre Jordan missing the next 2 months due to wrist injury, man. I know we've seen Colin Sexton is done for the rest of the season with this torn meniscus. Very sad news. And then we see that OG Anunoby, he's out indefinitely with this shoulder injury. Out of those three players, so we're talking Hawks, Cavs, and Raptors, who do you think will be missed most on their team, and why?
I think OG Anunoby is going to be the most missed out of those. I think in terms of you look at the Hawks, and they're just a lot of wing depth there. So I don't think DeAndre Hunter, as a good of a player as he is and the value that he brings to the Hawks, I think they have enough kind of pieces there to fill in a little bit, maybe not at the level that he can bring, but they have enough of those pieces there to fill in and be somewhat sufficient. And we've seen that with the level they're performing. But then you shift it to the Raptors. I think they're going to be missing a premier 3-and-D guy, not to the level, shout out our guy Oko. I don't think he's the best 3-and-D player in the league, but he's definitely up there with the best of them. And I think just losing a guy and a value and a player as important to OG, who's continued to emerge himself, continue emergence on the offensive end, and a guy who's always been a good defender, as I've mentioned, is a huge loss for the Raptors, who are trying to keep pace there in the East. And obviously, when we're recording this on the 21st of November, let's see how they do tonight against the Warriors. I'm looking forward to that matchup. And I think the loss of him and not having him as a perimeter defender is going to be evident tonight, as it will be for the rest of the time he's out. But who are you feeling out of that list, Jay?
I like that. I like that choice very much, Jay. But the only reason why I'm gonna go DeAndre Hunter is because the Hawks already are a struggling team on defense, and DeAndre Hunter was their primary defensive guy. He was able to step up and guard some players in the perimeter, man. So I'm gonna go DeAndre Hunter on this one. I know I feel bad for Colin Sexton because he is out for the season, but the Cavs still got Ricky Rubio, man. So they're good. They still got Ricky Rubio. They still got Darius Garland, man. So I think Colin Sexton will be missed, but I think Ricky Rubio will be able to step right up and fill in his position. But you almost got me there, Jay. You almost persuaded me. I was thinking to myself like, damn, should I say LG now?
Yeah.
All right,
no, Jay. I think that OG and DeAndre Hunter are both going to be missed by the Hawks and the Raptors. So I think either one has a good case, Jay.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And for the fans down below, you guys let us know which one, which of the three, whether Colin Sexton, DeAndre Hunter, or OG Anunoby is going to be missed most to their team, man. But all right, so let's transition, Jay, to our question segment here. I got some questions here for you, Jay. And the first one, just because Jason Tatum had this crazy game, this crazy game against Lakers. This question's gonna sound kind of crazy, but you got to hear me out, okay? Is Jason Tatum a lock for All-Star this year? And now here's why I'm saying this. Currently, right now, he's shooting his worst free throw percentage ever at 76%. His worst 3-point percentage ever at 32%. His worst field goal percentage at 39%. In my opinion, his team is underperforming. They had a great game against the Lakers, but everyone is having a great game against the Lakers. He got his teammates calling him out for not passing. It's not looking like the Jason Tatum that we have kind of known and fell in love with for these past 2 years. The scoring has dipped off a bit. He's scoring 1 or 2 less points than he was the last 2 previous years. But I don't know. Is Jason Tatum a lock? Yes, he's an all-star 100%. To you, what is it?
Are you saying by definition, is he a lock? Then no, I don't think. Do I think he's going to be an all-star? Yes. Would I say he's a lock? No. So that's kind of what I think. I think just his overall star power. I think that this is the type of game against the Lakers that will catapult him in the right direction, Absolutely. Get him playing at a higher level, something to build on, a flash of the player that we know he should be. And I think it's a player that we'll continue to see. I think Jason Tatum's an extremely good player. I think he can be a superstar. He is a star right now. Prolific scorer who was off to a slow start. So I think he's not a lock, but do I think he'll be an all-star? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. I can't disagree with you because yes, his performance hasn't been great so far this year, but with a player like that, I think that he'll be able to figure it out. But if you're going to answer the question that I'm asking here, that's a lock. I don't know if he's a lock, but I think his game, his branding of himself, because a lot of NBA is also branding yourself, how famous you are too. And I think that, him and Deuce will be over there at the All-Star game, man. Mm-hmm. So, all right, Jay. Next question here I want to run by you is, Jay, we have seen John Wall get held hostage over there in the Houston Rockets. So if you could decide, if they came up to you and said, Justin, tell us where you want John Wall, where do you can pick any team. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about none of that. Where do you want to see John Wall playing in?
One team. Oh, that I want to see him playing at. Dang, that's tough. I'd say probably.
You want to ponder on it? I have my question. I have my answer ready.
Yeah, who you got?
I got the Clippers. Maybe I got the Clippers. Okay. And the reason why I got the Clippers is I just think that Paul George, he's gonna need help this year scoring. I mean, yes, Paul George is a great scorer, but we've seen in the league you can't be a one-man wrecking crew anymore. That was back in the day, and I don't think Eric Bledsoe is gonna help it too much. He's a great player, but I think that John Wall will be able to be that secondary scorer. He can still push the pace. He can still be a modern point guard and defer to PG at times too. So I got the Clippers.
I like that. I like the Clippers. I think that I'm agree with you on that. I think, we haven't relied on Bledsoe to be that number one or that point guard. He's sometimes like a 1-2 combo. I think John Wall would fit in great there, giving him that second scoring option. And John Wall is I think he's very much a prominent NBA player. I think he can be serviceable to any team he's on, but I think the Clippers could use the services, man. Free him up.
Free my boy John Wall, man. Facts. All right, Jay. So last question of this little question segment that we got here, and that is the NBA rules that we were talking about earlier, Jay. As we've seen, this game is being called different this year. The fans love it, players hate it, but a lot of players are just complaining, saying that there's just too much contact and the fouls aren't even being called now. Jay, to you, are these rule changes better or worse for the game? And take out, your fan bias as a player. You're a player too. You played in college. You played at a high level. You know what it is like to get hit and not get called. It's very, very frustrating in the game. So is it better or worse for the game, these rule changes?
I love it. I think it's great for the game. I mean, even in my college days, man, I was a very physical player. Like, I liked contact. So I think that, it's survival of the fittest, man. I think that's the level that the game should be played. All these ticky-tack calls, I'm not into that, man. I love that fluidity, not that stop-start. I think that the game should be just played. And when it's played at its highest level is when the game is being – those ticky-tack calls aren't stopping and starting the game. So I think I'm loving the way that it's back to being actual basketball, not just watching free throws. As a fan, but not as a player, being able to absorb that contact, not crying about every call, being able to play physical. I think that's the way the game should be officiated and played at the same time. And as a added bonus, as a fan watching it, you love to see it. Facts, but how are you feeling about it?
I'm right there with you, Jay. It's nothing worse than watching a basketball game and seeing non-basketball moves being done. Like, it's just extremely frustrating when you pump fake and then someone goes into you and then you take a shot like that. Like, you weren't going to take that shot. That's not how you shoot. That's out of your form. It's extremely frustrating. Slows the game down. It's annoying for everyone, man. It's annoying for the players on the court. It's annoying for the fans. It's only not annoying for the guy getting the free throw, man. That's the only person it's not annoying for. So I'm loving it, man. I am loving it. And I think it's better for the game. Lets the game transition. That's the beauty of the game, man. It's in the transition, man. When the game is flying up to speed.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, too, these inflated numbers, these inflated scoring numbers that we're used to seeing are gone. Like we're seeing who can truly score the basketball
Who can
now.
truly
And
hoop.
instead of just those who can shoot the most free throws. Now we want to see who can put the ball in the hole without getting all these calls. And we're finally being able to see it. And the cream is rising to the top.
Absolutely, Jay. I love that, man. All right, Jay. So let's transition to our last segment here that we have on this episode, Jay. And that's this new segment I'm going to introduce. And this is a who would you rather have, Jay? So I have 4 players here listed. Well, 4 options here listed of who would you rather have. I know we've been talking about this a bunch off camera, but I know we talk about it a little bit on camera. We haven't really got, dived crazy deep into it, and we don't even have to get crazy. But just real quick, Jay, who would you rather have, Ja Morant or LaMelo Ball?
Oh, I've been waiting for this segment for a while, man.
I know you.
Jay, you finally got it.
I know
you finally got it. We asked the fans in a poll too. Most of them say Ja Morant over LaMelo. I have to agree with them. I think Ja is just playing at extremely high level. He's doing it all for the Grizzlies, as is LaMelo. I just think that Ja, just in terms of his overall game is just more mature. I just question decision making sometimes of LaMelo, his maturity level at times. Albeit both great players, I would just rather have Ja Morant on my squad and on my team.
Okay. Well, Jay, I pride myself off being honest, man. So I gotta be honest with the fans, man. I gotta tell the fans. At first, I was going with LaMelo. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Me and Jay, we was talking about this over the phone, over the text, and all that. I was really going with LaMelo. I was like,
he was.
I was like, LaMelo is a taller version of Ja. He can really kind of do everything that Ja can. But as I've just grown, and I gotta admit my mistakes. I was wrong. I was wrong. I would rather take Ja Morant, man. The player that he is, and just the grit in him. You know what I'm saying? The jumper you can find, the passes you can work on, all this. But what you can't work on is that dog in you, man. That dog. And shout out my brother, man. Shout out Junior. I know one time Junior said not to the same level, but Ja Morant's dog and his grit reminds me of Allen Iverson and his dog and his grit. Not the same game, but just that I'm gonna get to the hoop no matter what. And I don't care who's down there. I'm putting it on your head, man. So I gotta go with Ja Morant because that cannot be taught, man. And I don't think LaMelo's built from that cloth. Not saying he's not a good player, but he's just not ready for that Ja smoke, man. So all right, Jay. So next 2 players we have here. This one's gonna be tough, Jay. The next couple ones are tough, brother. You know who he is, Kevin freaking Durant or Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Oof, that's a tough one.
That's tough.
But I'm going with who he is. I'm going with Kevin Durant. I just think number one, prolific scorer, the better shooter. I think when he wants to defend, he can defend with the best of them. He's a great defender. He can get to the rim too. He's a great facilitator on offense. I think he can just do all the things that Giannis can do, just at a little bit of a higher level, and he's a better shooter, about the same size. I mean, Giannis obviously has more bulk to him, but I'm going with KD, the 2-time champion. Despite how he got it, I mean, we're not here going to talk about that, Jay. I think that he was a huge part, probably the one or best, second or first best player, however you want to look at it, on those title teams. And yeah, I'm just going with KD in that. Not to take away from Giannis, though. He's a great player in what he does, man. He's one of the top 5, top 3, in my opinion, in the game right now. But who you got?
Absolutely. No takeaway from my boy Giannis. And I really like him. And I think that Giannis has got that. Even though he's made it to the top of the pinnacle, he's still got that underdog mentality. He's still ready to work and all that. But I can't stray away from one of the greatest scorers of all time. Come on, man. I gotta go with Kevin Durant on that one, dog. Like that's just who he is. I'm Kevin freaking Durant. All right, man. So next 2 players we got here is take aside his injury. I know he's injured this year, but are you taking, as an overall player, Kawhi Leonard, or are you taking James Harden?
As an overall player, when they're at full health, I'm going with Kawhi in that. I think that he's led his team to a championship in Toronto, locked down, the best 3-and-D player, or perimeter scorer, however you want to look at it, and defender in the league. two-way guy, probably the best premier two-way guy in the league. And then just as everyone says, he doesn't say anything as a teammate. I think he's a great teammate in terms of leading by example rather than, saying it. You don't have to be the most vocal guy to be a leader. And I think Kawhi is a perfect example of that. Never heard a bad thing about him, being a teammate or anything. He's just a guy who just goes out there, puts his work helmet on, grabs his lunch pail, gets right to work, and you know what you're going to get from him, the cyborg or whatever, man. You just know what you're going to get. Whereas Harden, for as great as he is, there's times that I just question, number one, his work ethic. I think that he just has that get up and go mentality, but I think like times he's just just overall how his body looks, man. I'm not going to question his work ethic, but like, is that how you want to look and how you want to be? There's a reason why he might be injured. Like he had his hamstrings problems. That just could be just his overall health and how he's taking care of himself. I don't know. I'm not there every night. He's the best of the best, but I'm taking Kawhi, man.
Yeah, I'm taking Kawhi too, Jay. I mean, I wanted to ask that question because that's like a great on defense and just a great prolific scorer on offense. But I don't feel that Kawhi Leonard is far off as James Harden as a scorer, but I feel like James Harden is far off as Kawhi as a defender, man. So I definitely got to agree with you on Jay. I got to go with Kawhi Leonard on that. And for the last one, Jay, this one's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie because both are injury prone players. But when they are playing and when they are there, they are absolutely monsters, Jay. So are you going with AD number one, the real AD, or are you going with that big dude, Joel Embiid? That's a tough one.
At full strength, full health. I'm going to go with at full strength, at full health. I'm going to go with Joel in that. I think that he just can lead his team more. He can be kind of just more of a dominant figure night to night. I think he's just more of a dog, more of a competitor than AD. I think AD is definitely more skilled. Just who would I rather want on my team when they're fully healthy is Joel. I think night to night, I can expect him to compete. I can expect him to be the best competitor on the floor, the best player on the floor, dominating the big. He could step out. He could score inside. He's got great handles. Defending, he can also defend. Not as mobile on the perimeter as AD, but who I can expect night to night to compete with me when he's healthy and get the most out of his talent is Joel Embiid. That's why I'm taking him, even when AD might be the more skilled player. But who you got, Jay?
Jay, the crazy thing is these players are so great that it's like, you could really go both ways, man. But I gotta swerve, Jay. I gotta swerve, and I gotta go AD, man. Like I said, a little bit more of a defender in the perimeter. And I know when you talk about today's game, you need bigs that are gonna be able to run these pick and rolls. And I'd rather take AD, a little bit more of a secure shooter from deep and from mid range. I agree with you. He doesn't have that same dog that Joel Embiid has. He doesn't have that same, anger and just grit in the paint. I agree. He's not as much of a bully as Joel Embiid, but I just would rather take AD, to defend, to give me those little mid-range jumpers, man. But the only thing I question my boy AD is what we talk about all the time. Is he gonna bring it? Is he gonna? Because AD can be fully healthy. He could be on the court, but sometimes he may choose to not bring it, man. So you know what it is. We got to talk about the Clutch Talk Player of the Week. We're doing that each week, Jay. So, Jay, who's your guy, Jay? Who is your Clutch Talk Player of the Week?
My guy is none other than himself, Tyrese to the max, man. And what is he doing in his last 6 games, Jay? 25 points per game, 4 assists, 4 rebounds on 57% from the field, 48% from 3, 90% from the free throw line. Now averaging 18 points on the season, man. I think he's just doing it all, and we're seeing the efficiency from him. Just the step right in guy that they needed. I think he's developed so much, not only from his rookie year to now, But I mean, just overall from this past week, I got to give it to my boy Tyrese Maxey playing at an extremely high level. Although all those haven't equated into wins, I think it's just what the doctor ordered if you're Philly, being taking over, filling in for Ben Simmons, or probably permanently. So, but who you got, Jay?
For real, Jay, permanently. But man, Jay, I like that, and I really like the fact that you went with the young player, because I'm also going to go with the young player, and that just shows that our league is in such good hands, man. Because I got to go with another young player, and that's LaMelo Ball, man. You know, he's been having one hell of a week himself. You know, 18 points per game, two steals per game, 9 assists, 9 rebounds, shooting 34% from three, 40% from the field, and 93% from the free throw line. And he's just like I was talking about earlier. He just looked so much more comfortable out there. Like, he's able to get to his spots. He's able to just really play the game that he wants to play, man. And you know, for the last 10 games, he's also been averaging 2.5 fouls per game. So I guess he's fouling a little bit less, man. So he's just becoming a smarter player with his decisions. I know that's something that we talk about, is sometimes LaMelo can get into a little bit tunnel vision and make some not so smart decisions. So I think that, you know, this week he's really stepped up. So I got to go with LaMelo on that one, man. So, all right, Jay, the league is in good hands, Jay. The league is in really good hands. The league is in really good hands, man. All right, Jay. Well, that wraps up our episode, man, Jay. So the league is in really good hands, Jay. So, man, we all we got to do, Jay, sit back, kick our feet up, eat some popcorn, and just watch these young players hoop, man. But
thanks.
All right, Jay. So you got any last words you want to say here before we sign off here?
Nah, man. Like you said, league's in good hands. Watch these games coming up. I think there's gonna be some great games. And yeah, man, another great episode.
Another great episode, my brother. I'm happy to see you again. We will be talking soon. And yes, guys, so as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you guys are on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to rank our podcast and leave us a review, man. Let us know what you like. Let us know for these who would you rather have players. Who would you rather have, man? And don't forget to follow us on our Instagram. It's going to be right here and in the description down below. If you're listening on any podcast platform, it's at Clutch Talk Pod. That's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can find us on all of that, man. So if ain't nothing more to be said, then we out of here, y'all. Clutch Talk out.
Deuces.